Hey, and today I've got for you the review of the new Citroen C4. I'm here at the actual headquarters of Citroen. They should say Stellantis up there, but I think they'll get to that soon. Here in Coventry in the UK, and it's a very COVID-aware launch. First drives in the UK of the new C4 range. I'll be driving a petrol one, which is this one, and later I'll also try an electric version. Now this is one up from base model, so this is a Sense Plus, but the 18-inch wheels you see on there are standard. Everything on this car is in fact standard, apart from the red trimming on the little bit of garnish there and on the side. You can see on there on the other side where it is, there. So I'll do a little walk around now with the car, and then we'll do a little bit of how it feels on the road in car as well. So a little bit different from my normal reviews, but we are in a launch situation and things are a little bit different at the moment. So yeah, before we do that though, make sure that you're subscribing to youtube.com/browncarguy. Make sure that you also follow my blog, which is browncarguy.com, and of course follow me on the social media. The hashtag is #browncarguy. That's on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and even on TikTok. And if you enjoy my videos, you can sponsor them on patreon.com/browncarguy. Cool, let's get into this. So this is what they call it a hatchback. You might want to call this an SUV, or you could call it a crossover. It's on the CMP platform, which is the same platform that is used by Peugeot, of course, as well, and Vauxhall for the Corsa, Peugeot for the 208 and the 2008. It's got the longest wheelbase of that version. These cars were designed the platform was designed from the onset to accommodate electric drivetrains. So there are no compromises, they say, between this car, this petrol version, and the electric version, which we will try later on. It's a good looking car, very sleek. They say there's a bit of DS in the silhouette, which you should be able to see, particularly in the side profile and the rear three quarters. Of course, it's got slightly higher ride height than a hatchback would have, and of course it has this cladding along the bottoms, which again give it that impression of being an SUV. But they are really comparing this to a Focus or a Corolla, or even, if you said Corolla, you could say CHR, it'd be the same sort of thing. So nice touches. Look at the styling on the side. You can see in the light and the reflection there. There's a little bit of styling on the door there. Very nice design features towards the back. Of course, it's got the Citroen face there with the chevrons, and the lights there, the daytime running lights up there. Very, very distinctive, very good looking. And at the back also quite a few stylistic features. Quite a good looking thing there with the spoiler and these very intricate lights. So let's have a little look at the boot and also the rear cabin space as well. So here we go with the boot. That is quite a substantial boot, 380 litres, and they say that pretty much it is the same in the E, except that the floor is actually right up flush with this, so that there's a space underneath that for the cables. Although having said that, actually you can move this floor to that level as well. Clearly you can see that, yeah, so that could be adjusted to that as well. I could look underneath here, and there is quite a cavity there where a space saver could fit, or tire repair kit, and maybe you could put a few squashy bags and stuff like that. 60/40 split folding rear seat, pocket there, straps, and yeah, all the usual stuff. So that's quite good. Let's see what the rear passenger space is like. Okay, here we are in the back of the Citroen C4, the new C4. I've got to say, they say they're using the longest wheelbase, and they say that they've got class-leading rear legroom in this car. And I have to confess, I do feel it's a little bit better. I wonder if that's just a psychological thing, but I do feel it's a bit better than in its equivalent cars. But having said that, the shins are right up against the seat. There is plenty of knee room. There is room to wriggle around my feet, no problem. Now my head is quite close to this, so already I've hit that there once. But here there's no problem. So maybe it's just the shape of the roof or the shape of the side of the car, the way it tapers in, it kind of maybe takes away a little bit of space here. So maybe 3 people in here might be much, but 3 normal sized people, or certainly 3 children, should be fine. There are Isofix chassis anchor points. It's got this very nice sort of half leather and half cloth trim. Feels quite hard wearing. Nicely done, nicely finished, I like it. No armrest that I can see. You do get AC vents back here, and you do get a USB, which is good. And everything is standard on this car, as they say. I like these little bits here. Apparently these are blue on the electric version, so we'll see when we get into that car. But generally not claustrophobic, quite comfortable. You got a whole switch bank of lights here for you as well, so not too bad. Time to get into the front. Right, so here we are inside. Look at this dashboard, that's incredible. Floating screens, a big screen there. It's got a traditional key, but everything else on this car, this is a manual, so that's cool. You do get it in manual version. But everything else on here is standard. Look at that massive screen there with all of those features. The climate control system is separate down here. And look at this. So again, it'll be interesting to see. Oh, that's the cruise control. So you've got cruise control buttons there. And then you got buttons here. Here we go. So that's giving you all of that sort of stuff. Nice design features down here and nice here. There's a heads-up display standard on this car. I'm told there is a reversing camera standard. Yeah, look at that, with the 360 as well. This here is to keep your tablet in, and there's also this one where you can actually put it so that your passenger can view whatever they want to view while you're driving. And then down here, of course, the glove box. Again, the nice seats up front. You have 2 USBs and a tray. I don't know if that's wireless charging, maybe in the higher spec versions. Oh, that's a compartment under there. So that's also a tray, and again, that's a compartment. Power supply, 2 USBs, manual gearbox, cup holder, slidey cover, quite nice. And cubby box, yeah, reasonably deep cubby box as well. So all pretty good. Let's see what it's like on the go. I've been driving the Citroen C4, the petrol one, the 130 brake horsepower. I don't have all the performance figures with me, so I might put them on screen. I've been driving it around for a while now, and on a nice bit of twisty road actually at the moment. The main thing about this car is that it does have a crossover feel, because you do sit higher. You sit higher than a normal car, so it's not really fair to call it a hatchback. You do feel like you're in a slight SUV or in a crossover sort of thing, get a higher vantage point. In addition to the vantage point, good visibility all around. There's a bar that goes across the rear window, which is actually the spoiler, which slices it, bisects it a little bit, but it doesn't cause too much of an issue. The roof does slope inwards quite a bit, so the rear window visibility is not fantastic, but it's good enough for driving. For parking, you've got the reversing camera, so that helps. And then you've got these side mirrors, which are really good. Now, we're on a nice bit of road here, and you know, it's a fun road actually, but that's not what this car is about. Citroen are very clear about that. There's extra cushioning in the seats to make them more comfortable, same as in the C5, and I'll stick the review for that up here, and you can see that I reviewed that. The same suspension system that they've got in there, the very clever Citroen suspension system. The idea is to keep it soft.
600 yards.
There's the sat nav.
The roundabout.
The sat nav is coming up on the heads-up display as well as over here, so that's quite handy. You just get the immediate description there. But as I was saying, the car is really about comfort. That's how they've configured. I mean, it could do that. It can move around and stuff. It grips really well. So it does have a kind of a little bit of a cushiony ride, a floating kind of ride. You know, it's sort of.
350 yards.
Alrighty, lady. So it kind of floats over the surface. You kind of glide along, bounce along a little bit. You know, funny thing is you can heel and toe in this car because this is the manual car. But I would advise that if you're going to go for the manual, to try it out first if you can, because the space next to the clutch on the left side is quite limited for my big feet. I do have big feet. And if you're wearing boots and stuff, that might be an issue. So just, it's okay, it's manageable, but it's just slightly restrictive. So do be aware of that. The automatic, of course, wouldn't have that problem. The gear shift is okay. It's a bit, it's got that sort of Citroen feel about it. It's not as precise or sharp or as, spot on as you might expect from some other cars. Again, this is not a sporty car. It's all about keeping it quite easy. The clutch is very easy and light. The take-up is good, it's very easy. There's no issue with the biting points. And like I said, you can even heel and toe in this car, but why would you? If you wanted to. There is on the dashboard, it's entirely digital, but you do see the main thing is the speed. It's showing you the gear shift and it's telling you that you should change up. And underneath that, there's two little digital displays that give you the revs and it gives you the temperature. So as I was saying, the gear change is light and easy. Similarly, the steering wheel also, or the steering is light and easy. I wouldn't say that it's feelsome. I wouldn't say it's sharp or anything like that. So I also had it on the motorway. On the motorway, it cruised really nice. I had the cruise control on. No issues. It's not adaptive cruise control, but it's fine. And a little bit of wind noise, but nothing obtrusive. And of course, there she is again. And again, it just glides really nicely on the motorway. I can imagine that it's probably a very, very easy car to cruise up and down motorways on, and would be entirely stress-free, actually, hassle-free, and all the rest of it. So in that sense, I think again, it's very good in terms of comfort and in getting you places, without you feeling a bit, at all feeling tired at the end of the journey. That's for sure. Refinement and quietness also is an important thing, and there you go, a little bit of performance. Just again, when it builds up to just over 2,000. And you get a little bit of a growl from the engine. Sounds quite nice actually, and not too bad at all. It'll be interesting to try the electric car with no sound at all, so that'll be interesting. So again, just giving it some power and just actually chucking it around. So again, heel and toe, yeah, you can do it. Yeah, it's not as sharp or as precise, but it gets around the corner. It's all right, reasonably entertaining. Doesn't roll too much because you think that, well, with this floaty suspension, if it's there you go, it just bounces floats over the bumps there. But you think it may be cornering on its door handles or anything like that. No, it doesn't do that. It's fine. But I guess your passengers might start to go, what are you doing? Slow down if you do too much of this. But I'm quite enjoying it actually, and the performance is quite reasonable. This stuff will take a little bit of a while to actually figure out, so I haven't quite figured out all of this stuff, so maybe you need to just take some time to do that, but otherwise quite straightforward. Comfortable seating position, no problem at all. A good, like I said, apart from just watch out if you're getting the manual that there's enough space for your feet, but other than that, no issues whatsoever. So overall, I'd say it's a pretty good drive. It'd be interesting to try the electric version. There's a little bit of squidginess in the controls, even in the pedals a little bit, and in the gear change. But, other than that, it's fine, not an issue at all. So overall, quite good. Time to try the electric car. So this is the E version. As you can see, the main difference, as mentioned before, is the blue here, and of course the E logo that's here. Otherwise, you can't really tell the difference between this and the other C4, the petrol, and also there's a bit of diesel as well. I'm not testing that in this review. And of course, rear, there are no real exhausts, but there are what's left as sort of vestiges of what used to. It's like it's evolved and the exhausts have dropped off, and that's what's left. That's what that is. So just for comparison's sake, this is the boot of the E, the C4E. It's just that they're leaving a little space under there, just so that you can put your charging cable. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same thing actually. The E is the shine spec, so full leather interior, very nicely done. Same amount of headroom, legroom, all the rest of it, and same facilities. As mentioned, the striping is blue this time. So we're now in the electric car, And then from inside, there's not a lot of difference. It's got the heads-up display and everything. Otherwise, it looks pretty much the same. The display here is a little bit different. It just says ready. Obviously, I wonder what else it's got. And it obviously gives you the economy and that sort of stuff. Now, I'm sure that there must be a system on here. Again, this is just a launch drive, so I won't have time, but I'm sure there must be a system on here that shows you how the charging is happening and all the rest of it. Otherwise, it does have a wireless charger on this. This one actually, I believe, is a range topper, so it's better equipped. Let me tell you a little bit about the car. They say up to a 217 mile range. It's a 50 kilowatt lithium ion battery. 100 kilowatt power, it's about 136 brake horsepower equivalent. Up to 100 kilowatt rapid charging, so 80% in 30 minutes on a fast charger. On board is a 7.4 kilowatt charger, 7 hours, 30 minutes at home if you do it that way. That's pretty much all the information. So this is either a Shine or a Shine Plus. So it's got the dark tinted windows, blind spot, it's got adaptive cruise control on this one, automatic headlights, and if it's the Shine Plus, it's got it must be because it's got the Sienna black leather interior, heated front seats. Yeah, these are heated, so this must be the Shine Plus. USB connectivity, well, it's got that, of course. They're all automatics. They only come as automatic. It's an E, it'll only come as automatic anyway. So here we are in the E and moving along fine. I should just add, because I probably maybe stopped recording on the petrol one a little bit too early. But as I was driving a bit further on, it got wetter, but the roads got more interesting, and I started chucking it about even harder. And one thing I will have to say about that car is that the grip was actually not bad at all. And the handling was relatively neutral. I mean, you would think that, being that it's set up for comfort and ease of driving, that it would be all understeery and all the rest of it. But, apart from the safety limit, it was actually quite entertaining. So it was actually quite good. I'm sure the being a manual helped, but other than that, it was actually quite good. So kudos to them. An entertaining little car as well as comfortable. So we're doing more of a city route with this car because, again, it's an electric car, so I suppose that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? And it'll be interesting to try it. And again, the whole idea of this is that it's quiet, it's refined, it's good for no emissions, so good for everybody in town. Let's see what it sounds like accelerating on to this roundabout once I can do so. It just sounds like an electric car. That's what it does. But there is nothing that you have to learn here. Again, now these electric cars are getting to an extent where, they are completely intuitive. Just like any automatic car, you get in, you select drive, and off you go. The only difference being is that near the instead of a manual now, I have a lever here, and next to the lever, I have these little indicators of the gears, and below drive, I have an indicator B. Oh, I see. So the B is the regenerative braking. So obviously it's charging up the batteries through regenerative braking, which is good if you want to try and extend your range. She does talk a lot, doesn't she? Nice footrest now, so no issues with the with there not being space for my left leg. That's not an issue anymore. So generally quite comfortable. Yeah, I've had it in B for a while earlier on in traffic, and I noticed, yes, it is a one pedal thing. You have to anticipate a little bit, but yeah, you can do the one pedal drive with the car. I haven't lost any range. It's still showing 202, which is what it was showing to start with. So maybe the regen is working there. How does the acceleration? So let's go. Oh, yeah. So this definitely is quicker than the petrol car in the initial bit. in the initial bit, but it doesn't sustain the acceleration. It's that initial like whoa, and then it kind of eases off a little bit. So it's like with all electric cars. It's like that first spin of torque that you get is like a little RC car, and it's there straight away. So I suspect the 0 to 30 on this. I mean, I don't have the figures, but I suspect that's, in fact, I think that, we're going to reach a point soon where we will start judging cars not by 0 to 60s, but 0 to 30s or 0 to 50 kilometers per hour or something like that. Generally, this drives exactly the same as the petrol car, apart from the lack of engine noise and apart from the quicker acceleration. It feels the same. The ride level is the same. It may be, I just feel that it is maybe a little bit stiffer in the ride, just a little bit. Like you get a little bit more feedback is coming through, or transmission is coming through from the ground. Maybe that's to do with the extra weight that's lower down in the car. Perhaps that's what's causing that. But it's not uncomfortable by any means, and it's not jarring or an issue at all. It's just like I'm just nitpicking and just thinking of what actually is different between this car and that car. So let's try it in sports mode. It's got 3 modes actually, and I try to put it into sports mode, taking it off brake, and instantly the urgency, the throttle response improved, the urgency improved. So definitely there's a different configuration there when it comes to the way it's set up and the way the responsiveness is set up once you put it into sports mode. Just for out of interest, if I go back into normal, doesn't exactly slow it down, but you have to push a bit harder on the accelerator to get the same level of acceleration. Yeah, I mean, that is a difference. So if I hold it steady and then put it into sports, the accelerator just kind of loosens up and feels a bit more eager. Now what if I go down into eco, and you can push the accelerator halfway along and not a lot seems to happen. So yeah, significant difference there in the way that that it responds. Very interesting. After driving these cars around for a while, both the petrol one and this one, I gotta say the interior is really nice. It's something that Citroen and its sister company DS are doing really well. And it's all soft touch. So this is a blue that's unique to the E. It's one of the telltales. But that feels quite nice. It's nicely rippled. There's a nice bit of knurling that's going on onto these knurling that's going on these knobs here for the climate control. Citroen say it's supposed to be reminiscent of the Chevron. Maybe, maybe, but it's nice anyway. And it all feels pretty nice to touch. Some people talk about the quality and stuff, but to be honest, at this level of the market and what you're paying for this car, although for the electric car you're paying quite a bit more than you are paying for the petrol version, but actually it's pretty nice. It feels decent. I don't have any issues with it. I didn't feel that there's anything that flimsy in here or anything like that. So I think thumbs up as far as I'm concerned. It's pretty good. I think that with a 200-mile range on this car, it kind of does make sense as an electric vehicle that you could use every day, especially if you're going to get 80% of that back within a 30-minute charge time. That's not so bad. 7 hours to charge at home. To be honest, if your commute is within that range, then it would make sense because it feels and drives like a normal car. There are no issues whatsoever. You're not compromising. It's only if you're planning to do a longer run that you might have to really think about it. But 200 miles is quite a lot. One thing I'll say about the feel of driving this as compared to the petrol car, there is some differences. You remember I used the word squidgy a little bit when talking about the petrol car. I would not use that word with this car. This car somehow feels a little bit tighter, somehow a little bit more cleaner and more precise in its inputs and outputs, if you see what I mean. So I think in that way, this is actually a bit of an improvement even over the petrol car. So overall then, am I saying that you should buy the electric car over the petrol car? I think that, if you have the facility to charge at home, if your commutes are generally shorter, and if you can afford the extra money, because it is quite a bit more expensive, then yes, actually, that would make some kind of logical sense to do that. Having said that, you're not going to miss out at all by going for the petrol car. I think that's a really good car, and I don't think there is that much difference in it. But this does make a lot of sense, and I think that with that mileage, and it's actually gone up now, 203 miles as I've been driving it. So actually, it's increasing my range. So that's actually quite good. So overall then, a thumbs up. I quite like these. Yeah, I think that, you know, electric cars, getting more convincing. There you go, there's my review. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you think of the car, and see you in the next one. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please hit the like button and try to leave a comment. That would be awesome. Make sure that you're subscribing, of course. That's to youtube.com/browncarguy, and hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any of my videos. Whilst you're at it, also follow my blog, browncarguy.com, and of course follow me on social media. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and even TikTok. Just search for my hashtag, of course, hashtag browncarguy. Hey, if you enjoy my content, then you know what? You could sponsor it, and you can do that at patreon.com/browncarguy, and join these wonderful people scrolling up on the screen right now. Your name could also be here, along with Muhammad Ali Humaid, Partha Srinivasan, Tom Conway Gordon, Isaac Bouchard, Raza Adil, Muhammad Qasim, Siraj Abbasi, and of course Mark Waddell. Go to patreon.com/browncarguy. It's from as little as £2, $2 a month. Price of a coffee. Hey guys, buy me a coffee. Why not? If you enjoy my content. If you can't do that, make sure you're continuing to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.